Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, May 1, 2025. Cabinet has approved work on the Port Antonio bypass, which is expected to commence in June of this year. The announcement was made by Minister with Responsibility for Works, Robert Morgan, during yesterday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. He says the $81 million project from Norwich to Turtle Harbour will give motorists better access to that side of the island.
The objective is to improve travel efficiency, reduce congestion, and support regional economic growth.
Minister Morgan stresses that the bypass is a variation of the South Coast Highway Improvement Project and is not a new contract. That project, by the way, is now at 90% completion.
We have completed Part A, Maypen to Williamsfield Road Extension, which is essentially a toll road which is not yet tolled. We have given the public a benefit of no tolling over the last several months. The Part B2, Harbourview to Yallahs Bridge, which is a 4-lane highway, is also open to the public, as well as Part B3 and 4, Yallahs to Port Antonio, and Morant Bay to Cedar Valley, which is a 2-lane highway, which was divided into 3 tranches. 1 and 2 are substantially complete, and we have minor outstanding works there.
In what's being touted as a milestone for Jamaica's environmental future, the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, has launched the establishment of 7 refrigerant recovery, recycling and reclamation centers across the island. The centers are to support the phase-out of ozone-depleting substances, ODS, used by the cooling and foam trades.
And that's the target by 2030. The successful phase-out of ODS will assist Jamaica in fulfilling its obligation and maintaining its compliance record with the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer.
During Wednesday's launch ceremony, NEPA signed an official agreement with the Hart NSTA Trust for the establishment of 4 of the centers. These will be at the Hart College of Construction Services, the National Tools and Engineering Institute, the Southwest TVET Institute, Newport Campus, and the Beechamville Vocational Training Center. Similar agreements were also signed with the Caribbean Maritime University, University of Technology Jamaica, UTEC, and CAC 2000 Limited. These centers form part of the Jamaica Hydrochlorofluorocarbon HCFC phase-out management plan, which is funded by the United Nations Development Programme UNDP and coordinated by NEPA's National Ozone Unit. The UNDP's resident representative, Kishan Kode, says with this development, Jamaica is providing an excellent blueprint for HCFC and HFC removal in conformity with global efforts to close the hole in the ozone layer.
UNDP regards these centers as a landmark and an innovative response to the requirements under the protocol, and the kind that we're honored to support.
Refrigerant recovered from cooling equipment will be reprocessed to meet purity standards for resale and reuse, decreasing reliance on new imports.
Our reclamation efforts will encompass the following activities: new standards being developed for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. The incorporation of these standards into all our air conditioning and refrigeration programs. The development of job certifications for industry professionals to provide training on how to handle equipment and gas.
An oversight committee has been created to ensure the primary objectives of the centers are fulfilled. 223 farm workers have left the island to take up employment in various provinces in Canada under the Seasonal Agricultural Workers Program. Of the number, 200 are traveling to Ontario, 12 to New Brunswick, 3 to Quebec, and 8 to British Columbia. They will be engaged in harvesting apples, peaches, blueberries, cherries, raspberries, strawberries, as well as vegetables like cucumber and squash. The group, which left on Wednesday, joins a batch of 95 farm workers who departed the island on Tuesday for Toronto. Speaking at Wednesday's send-off, Minister of Labour and Social Security Pernell Charles Jr. said the continued success of the program underscored Canadian employers' high level of trust in the professionalism and productivity of Jamaican workers. He says the governments of Jamaica and Canada have been in dialogue to ensure that conditions are at a decent standard for the workers.
We were able to tackle some of the issues in terms of the environment where the farm workers were living and working. Now, I'm not going to tell you that everything was solved, but I know that we have done a good job in improving. Get in touch with us and let us know so we can continue to tackle the issues for you. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You have the right to be in a suitable working environment.
Minister Charles Jr. reveals that since the start of the year, 5,434 workers have been placed in Canada and the United States under the ministry's Overseas Employment Program. 3,777, or 70% of the workers, have gone to Canada and 1,657 to the U.S.
This program is of tremendous benefit to our workers, to your families, and to your country, Jamaica. I can't even overemphasize how significant a contribution it is when it comes on to the alleviation of high unemployment, particularly for rural Jamaica.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, will continue to place the integration of advanced technology into its operation as a top priority. So says the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, who is making his contribution to the 2025-2026 sectoral debate in Parliament on Tuesday. He pointed out that to date, 51 police stations have begun using the electronic station records and case management system to manage front desk operations. More than 1,400 vehicles are being tracked through a fleet management system, and the P25 digital radio communication system has been upgraded and expanded.
These enhanced communication capabilities have significantly improved emergency responsiveness, tactical deployments, and coordination among units, particularly during heavy operations.
Other initiatives include police officers being equipped with electronic handheld devices and wireless printers to facilitate the quick and efficient issuing of traffic tickets. The Security Minister says other support to the police force will come from updated legislation and digitization to the court system and the Criminal Records Office.
These tools have not only increased operational efficiency and enabled faster decision making, and that's critical in crime matters today, that a commissioner or a superintendent can make a decision quickly, but not just arm to hip, but can take a rational decision to respond where, when, and how in real time. That improves the quality of service delivered to a public.
Stenographers are now allowed to make digital recordings of court proceedings. Earlier this year, the Supreme Court announced that digital recordings would be implemented to improve the efficiency of information management in the justice system. Chief Justice Brian Sykes says that took effect on April 28, bringing much-needed change to the system.
One of the enduring problems that we have been having is the timely production of transcripts. Justice has to balance and take account of both victims, defendants, and the broader society that has an interest in the outcome of criminal proceedings. And so digital recordings now will be assisting us in producing the record in a timely way so we have less complaints about delays.
He adds that live streaming for some cases will be allowed to continue.
We want to do that both in the trial courts and in the appellate courts. It's easier to do in the appellate courts, but we also want to extend that to the first instance courts as a part of public education generally, and actually letting people see what happens in a court, and also reinforcing the right of access to the courts.
The Chief Justice was speaking at a recent ceremony at King's House where 2 members of the judiciary were sworn into higher office for the Easter term. And finally, the Scientific Research Council, SRC, is rolling out a series of free virtual workshops to help students prepare for the 2025 CSEC exams. The initiative began with a webinar and is to be followed by subject-specific tutorials throughout the month. Sessions will focus on mathematics, chemistry, biology, and physics, and include theory reviews, exam techniques, and past paper practice. Expert tutors, including SRC STEM ambassadors and university lecturers, will guide students in small breakout rooms. Registration details are available on SRC's social media platforms. The initiative forms part of the Council's wider efforts to promote science and technology among youth and encourage careers in STEM. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.